Is there a Bitcoin and Litecoin rally lurking? What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. Hope everybody's having a fabulous Friday. We're going to take a look at the chart, starting out with Litecoin, then moving on to Bitcoin and look at some key areas to watch and see what might be going on, where we might be headed. Also, stick around to the end if you guys have not seen the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart and why I believe we'll hit 46,000 by the end of the year. Definitely stick around to the end and check that out. Also, want to give a huge shout out to everybody in the Discord community. Great community in there. I had problems with my computer yesterday, wasn't able to make a video. Everybody got together and we ended up finding a way to get a new computer. Anyways, now I'll be able to live stream. I'll probably start one in the next couple days and get kind of used to it, and then, you know, do a couple of weeks after that. So that ought to be fun. If you guys haven't joined the community yet, definitely check it out. Free link down below the description, below the video. Definitely check that out. There's also some affiliate links in there for you guys to check out. It helps the channel out. So, yeah, let's get on with the charts and see what's going on. Alright guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind, it's still a speculative market, so don't put in more than you're willing to lose. With that being said, if you're new here or you haven't already, hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Then if you take the little notification bell, that'll get you notified when I post new videos so you don't miss out on anything, as I do post videos every day. Try to keep everybody updated. So smash those likes, guys. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions on how to improve the channel, leave it in the description or leave it in the comment section down below. I love to hear you guys' comments and see what you think. So, all right, let's get on with the video. This is Litecoin on the daily, and we had been looking at this as a cup and a handle here with the neckline of around the $94 range, and if we do a measured move off that, that got us up to the 167. We also were looking at this as a bigger cup and a small handle here with a neckline of 108, and if we went to where we broke out, that would get us up to the 192. This 167 target, guys, we've been watching for months now, and well, since we broke over here, which would have been right around the end of April, we started calling the 167. I'm definitely believe we're still headed at least there. So I do have some higher targets, and I'll show you. If you look at this as a ascending broadening wedge here, the two yellow lines, this being the support, this line being the this line being the support. Sorry, guys. This line being the resistance. And if we were to break out in this area right around the 150, 155 range, which is a target that we'll look at here in a minute, and if we were to break out above that, the measured move, if this is a ascending broadening wedge, would be up to around the $250 range. Definitely a possibility, guys. I see good things happening for both Bitcoin and Litecoin here. So, but yeah, those are my high targets here. If we are continuing this bull rally, which I do believe we are. If you look at the RSIs here, I use the 8, 13, 21, and 55 and 200 EMAs. They're all crossed. They're acting as support now. Definitely good sign, guys. Let's look into the daily RSI. We were following this rising channel since way back in November, and as you can see here, we had like a bear trap, came back in. I do believe we still have another push up to around this area, guys. That's, again, this is my opinion, but I do see more upward movement. And looking at this, we were looking at this as a falling channel, which we peaked out of here, which, you know, could be considered a bull trap in the RSI. But we were watching this as a descending wedge. Popped out of that, came into a falling channel, popped out of that, came into another falling channel, popped out of that, came into another falling channel. And now I just drew this in here, not 100% sure about these lines because we don't have more touches on the top, but we could be creating another falling channel here, and we could be moving up to go test the top of this falling channel again, if that makes sense to you guys. If you're new here, it's probably a little confusing, but if you stick around, you'll keep up. That's why I do updates every day to help everybody learn what's going on. Yeah, let's get into the price action now and look at what's going on in here. Now, as you remember, the top of that ascending broadening wedge is this yellow line here, and then we have an ascending broadening wedge in the blue here. We're going to take a look at the bearish scenario first, guys, which I don't believe at all that we are ready for the bearish scenario. But we do have to keep that in mind. It is possible. Right now, with what's going on, you can see I have these trend lines drawn in here. If we were to break the bottom of this trend line, and that if we were to come straight down from here, it's around the 127.70, 128. If we were to break down past that, the next line of support would be this trend line here, and that would get us down to somewhere around the 118 range. And if that didn't hold, then we're looking at the bottom of this wedge here, and that'd be around the $100 range. Now, if that wasn't to hold, which, guys, I honestly do not see I do not see a Litecoin under $100 again. Call me crazy, but I really don't. But if this wasn't to hold, my next line of support here is this old resistance here become new support, would be around the 62.50 range. And as you can see, the bottom of this ascending broadening wedge, obviously it's rising, and this is my worst case scenario line because that's the long-term trend line from when we bottomed out over here. So as of right now, if we were to almost come straight down, it'd have to be a pretty ugly dump. It would be to the $55 range. So that's where I'm at with that. Now let's look at the bullish scenario, which I am leaning way more towards, and I'll show you why. Alright, so I had showed you these trend lines coming up here, and these are just trend lines I drew off the peaks. And if you guys watch my channel, you know I like to use the wicks, not the bodies. I know a lot of people like the bodies. You know, to each their own. I guess it depends on your trading. But I like to use the wicks, and it works for me. And it's helped us call a lot of targets this year, all the way from December. So if we are to continue up from here, my target here is the 155 range, which is the top of that wedge. And obviously, we all know the 167 number, which we've been talking about forever, which is my target of the first cup and handle. And if we hit this 155 and break above, I believe we're going to start using the top of this ascending broadening wedge as support and continue on up from there. I believe there will be serious FOMO starting in that area for the people that are waiting for this big correction. Starting to hear less about it, but people have been calling for some pretty stupid corrections. And one of the major people yesterday, I heard him changing from a bear to a little bit of a bull, but he was calling for 4,200 a week ago. Kind of funny. I had mentioned in my Discord the other day that you know, today's bears are tomorrow's bulls, and it's funny because that's exactly what's happening. Anyways, again, shout out to everybody in there. I love you guys. Great community. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go in there. We don't charge a thing. All free information. I don't believe in all the scammers that charge you for courses that don't even do shit for you. You need to the only way to learn to trade is to learn the basics and then, you know, apply them, practice them, and that's the only way to get better. You're not going to get better paying somebody ridiculous amounts of money to support their gambling habits. So you can watch videos of the same shit that you can find free all over the internet. They can't teach you years of experience. They can teach you the basics, which you can get for free, and you have to build on your experience. That's my opinion, and I hate seeing people paying for these courses and getting ripped off, and these guys are just, you know, they're making a killing off of people being suckers, basically. Anyways, back to this. As you can see, that 192, if we were to get up there, it would be the top of this blue rising channel here. And then that 214 is a measured move off. If we look at this top yellow line, and then the blue line on the bottom, and this channel here, if we were to break out over in this area where we're at now, if we were to break out past that 155, we could be headed there. But obviously we'll get some resistance probably around the 167, 170, and then the 192. Then headed toward the 214, and we know the target after that, which we talked about, would be up. I don't have it on the 4-hour, but the 250 range. So let's get into Bitcoin. Whoops. We're into Bitcoin. The hell did I do there? Okay. Over to Bitcoin. Sorry, guys. And on Bitcoin, same thing. We were watching this as a cup and a little handle over here, and that was our measured move to 84, which we hit right here. Now, once we broke above this line, same thing as in Litecoin. There's a rising, broadening wedge, and once we broke here, our measured move from that is 9,600, and I'm still saying we're headed to at least that, but we could go much higher, guys, before any correction. And I was saying that, you know, back in here, up here, when everybody's calling for, you know, 4,200, 5,500, not happening, and we'll look at that in the end of the video. What trend line I look at to, I guess it's a trend line that I do not think will be broken no matter what. And the longer we stay up here, the way less likely it's going to happen. Another thing, I know a lot of people are looking at this as a head and shoulders, but honestly, guys, this wick right here invalidated it for me. And I don't care if people call it manipulation or whatnot, it's the market. That wick invalidated any idea of a head and shoulders. Yeah, that's my opinion on it. So let's look at the bearish scenario first, guys. Well, let's look at the RSI first. I'm a little all over. This computer is a lot different than my old one. It's like being in a new world this morning, so bear with me, guys. I had to redo my charts this morning because, let me get this off of the daily. Get this off of the daily. Apologize for that. Alright, so the rising channel we were watching forever in the daily, we broke out of here, came into this falling channel, and we broke out yesterday. Obviously, we had been talking about breaking out of this and coming up to retest the bottom of this channel, and possibly coming back up to here. So let's look at the 4-hour now. Still plenty of room for moves up, guys. Same thing, we had this rising channel, which we stayed in. You know, we had been watching pretty much all year. And we had the same thing over here, like in Litecoin, little bear trap, and come out of it. Now, I drew these lines in this morning as a descending channel on the blue lines, if you can see it there. More what I'm watching now, but inside this channel we had seen a rising wedge, fell out of the rising wedge, came into a falling channel, and now it looks like we're in another rising wedge. I do believe we're probably most likely going to come up to test the top of this, the support or the resistance of the top of this blue falling channel, and that's what I believe is going to give us our next move up. Let's look into the price action, and as always, we're going to take a look at the bearish scenario first, guys. And then we'll take a look at what I believe is happening, and that is the bullish scenario. So on the bearish side of things, let me get this down here. Get this over here. This is the measured move off of that. And this is our flagpole over here. So we were looking at this as a rising wedge with this yellow, or this white line here coming down. That's all within this channel. And I do believe that that is, I guess, still possible. I doubt it, but the measured move of the breakout of that, guys, is all the way down to the 6100 range. You know what? No, it's not. I am sorry about that. We would measure the rising wedge. The measured move off that would be around that 6600 range, guys. Honestly, I don't think that's happening. I don't think you'll see a Bitcoin that low ever again. But again, that's my opinion. And I'm just showing you and telling you what the charts are showing me. So, now the other, like I said, that's the absolute worst case scenario, guys, around that 6600, 66 to 6700 range. But as you can see, I have a channel that looks like we're in this channel now. And if we did a measured move of this channel, if we were to come back down and test this for support again, which would be somewhere in the $7,800 to $7,900 range, and that was the break, then we would look at this bottom of this channel here for support, which would be around the 7,600 range. And if that was the break, then we would be looking at testing the top of this rising broadening wedge, which I showed you in the daily, which would be right here. That'd be around the 7350 range. And again, guys, this is the bearish case, so definitely, you know, keep in mind, if we break this up here, which we'll talk about in a minute, then the bullish case is definitely 100% in effect, in my opinion. But the measured move, if we broke out of this channel here, would be down to the $68 to $69 range, which we do have some old support and resistance there. But I really not looking at that unless we break the 7350. Again, guys, that's possible, but unlikely. Now let's do a measured move of breaking out of this channel, which would be right up here to the $9,000 range, guys, which would be old resistance. And I do believe, you know, we may get some resistance there, maybe build a little bull flag and move on up higher. But like I said, this is still my bullish target, at least. And if we break that 96, I think all hell's going to break loose and should be pretty amazing. And that would match up with the gold weekly chart, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. The other thing I want to show you guys is I had this, let me zoom in a little bit. This was the first part of the bull scenario. I had this trend line drawn in here off these peaks, which we broke out of here. And what I did was took a measured move of this, from this, the peak of it. It's like a triangle here. But the measured move off of that, guys, would be the 85.25. So I definitely think if we break this, that's where we're headed. We may come back down, test this top of this channel for support, and then continue on up to our higher target of the $9,000 range. So yeah, I'm still bullish here, guys. That's a joke in our Discord, but I'm serious. I'm still bullish here. Let's look at the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly chart. Well, first off, let's look at the higher targets here and show you how I got these. So looking at this as a rising channel, we would do a measured move off the rising channel to where we broke out. Say if we broke out somewhere in the $9,800 range, 11,700, and I moved these up, guys, because as you guys know, as we move along, these supports and resistance are all moving up, so our targets will move up with them. But right now we're between 11,700 if we break out of the top of this channel, guys, which I do see very possible. And then if we measure this as this flagpole here and look at this as just a huge bull flag, which if you look down here, that's what this done. It was a rising channel, ended up breaking out, and look what happened. So I believe this could be doing the same exact thing. And the measured move of the breakout then would be 12,200. So if we're to break out of this channel, guys, I'd be looking for the 11,700 to 12,200 or 12,300 range, somewhere in there. That's where I'm at with that. Let's look at the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart. If you guys can see the resemblance, it's amazing. And if you look up here at this yellow line, I drew the same one in here. Actually, come down a little bit. But that's my target for the end of the year, 46,000. And those that say it's impossible, just look at that. Look at the people that, how many people called 20,000 in 2017 at the beginning of the year? Not many. But anyways, I really truly see this happening, guys. Right in here, 2003, the gold ETF was approved, and you can see what happened after that. I know a lot of people are saying the ETF won't do anything for Bitcoin. Do your own research. Check it out. Look what happened after gold got the ETF approved. Just saying, guys. And I drew a peak. From each peak, I drew trend lines down to where Bitcoin broke down from 6,000. And we'll zoom in a minute, and you can see each one was resistance, became support, and moved on up through. And if you look at how this is bottoming out, look how gold bottomed out, and look how Bitcoin's bottoming out. And do you see any huge retracement? Nope. That's why I do not believe that we're going to have much more in a retracement than we just had. And we will look at the worst case scenario with this chart here in a minute too. But we're going to take a closer look at how this bottomed out. Gold bottomed out, as you can see, had this bottom trend line here, long-term trend line, hit the bottom trend line twice, got support, and you see what happened after that. Now look at Bitcoin. Like I said, sorry guys, getting used to the new computer. Everything's a little bit different. It's kind of weird looking from a different screen. But anyways, there's one more thing I wanted to show you. Sorry guys. I was talking about it in a instant message with a guy yesterday and kind of telling him how I look at the EMAs here. This is my 55 EMA. And then I have my 8, my 13, and my 21. And when these cross, which happened right here, I was telling him how I use them. But when it crossed right here, the next candle that opens and closes above all of them after the cross, which was right here, that's where I become bullish. I was bullish before that, but this is just kind of an assurance for me. When I do see a cross, when all three of them cross the 55 like it did here, then I look for a candle that open and close be above all of the EMAs, which was right here. That's when I became bullish. Told him yesterday, and hope he's doing well in the trade. All right, back over here. As you can see, each one of these trend lines that I drew from the peak was resistance and then became support all the way up. And to where we're at now. We're back above all the EMAs here, also in the daily. And like I said, worst case scenario, guys, that it comes all the way back down here to, like I said, now it's around the 6,700 range. If you're looking for a Bitcoin under 6,700 bucks, good luck to you. I think your ass out. I don't even think you're going to see one lower than probably 75 now, but I could be wrong. You know, people could be right about this being a head and shoulders, but I don't believe so, guys. I just don't see it. If we look at gold and what gold did right around there, I know a lot of people say this is a weekly and that's a daily, but a pattern is a pattern, guys. Charts are charts. Human emotions are human emotions. Bitcoin's a lot smaller market, can be moved a lot easier. Also, we have the internet, we have social media, we have everything's a lot faster now than all of this, you know, took. But as you can see, look after the bottom here, just, you know, just all the movement in there. And if you look over here, it's the same thing. Same thing. We look to be about right here right now, right before a huge move. And I believe in show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. And we're expecting some big news here, guys. Real big news. And I believe a lot of people probably already know about it. And we're always the last ones to hear about it. They made their move, and then we're going to make our move next when they release the news and start the FOMO. But anyways, that's where I'm at with this, guys. Let's look into the RSI real quick, and I'll show you what I've been watching in there. And looking at the weekly RSI, we started watching this in January on this channel. This is 2013 bull run, followed by the bear market. 2017 bull run, followed by the bear market. Drew these trend lines in. We had 2 touches of resistance on that trend line, broke through, started the next bull run. 2 touches of resistance on that trend line, broke through, started the next bull run. Amazing, huh? Let's look at the monthly. The similarities in the RSI are amazing. People watching the price action from like 2015 to now and trying to judge it, obviously you see that didn't work. Just like all the indicators don't work. People talk less and less about them. Guys, I believe indicators are just a bunch of noise. If you stick with the basics, you'll do much better at charting and trading. And I do this in the daily, in the 4-hour, but this technique does work when you go down in the smaller time frames and use the same techniques. It works the same way. Anyways, 2013 bull market, followed by the bear market. Each one of these arrows represents a new low in the RSI. We had 4 of them. And same thing over here. 2017 bull market, followed by the bear market. 4 arrows representing new lows in the RSI. The only difference I see, guys, is this arc is going to be a lot quicker, in my opinion. So if you guys liked the video, definitely click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head to get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash the likes, leave your comments, join the Discord. Great community, guys. And I'm out. I will see you tomorrow.